Bass-TEC fans, what's going on, folks? So I'm going to jump right into our sponsor lineup so we can get right into this show because I know these men are chomping at the bit to get to talking about fishing tonight. So we want to thank G2 Gemini Jerseys for their sponsorship through with our Hooked Up Lives, brought to you by these fine sponsors. G2 Gemini Jerseys, get over there, check them out, g2gemini.com. Enter in any order that you do. You can enter in G2 Georgia spelled out 21 and receive your 25% discount off any order. So we appreciate G2 Gemini Jerseys providing sponsorship tonight. Line Taming Serum, if you haven't got over, check them out. Great product on Facebook, social media. Absolutely helps out for that line memory conditioner. And they have got a lot of other products as well, some scents and different things, crawfish, shad, bunch of different types. So get over there, check them out. We appreciate their sponsorship for our Hooked Up Lives. Lithium Pros, the one battery that you need. They definitely power your passion. So make sure to tell them, lithiumpros.com, get over there, check out the products, mention the TEC, and they'll make sure to take and treat you right. So we appreciate them with our Hooked Up Live sponsors. Dugout Bait and Tackle. If y'all seen it on Facebook, get over there, like them, subscribe to their page. I'd seen the other day where it looks like they've been selling those kayaks like crazy. So not only that, they have got wall-to-wall covered bait and tackle. Anything you need, they've got it. Reels, rods. We appreciate their Hooked Up Live sponsorship tonight. Nate's Custom Boats and Accessories. If you look here at the bottom of this page or this video feed, you'll see Nate's different social media platforms that he has. Get over there, check him out. He's also, I believe, it ain't listed on here. He's actually got a Facebook page through it with Nate's Custom Boats and Accessories. He's got all of his product line on there. So we'll be giving away $30 coupon or gift certificate for tonight's random draw viewers. So make sure. We appreciate Nate's Custom Boats and Accessories. Get by there, check them out. So with no further ado, we have Randy Moore and Michael Geiger. Welcome, men.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing tonight?
Good. Doing good. And y'all actually qualified with Electric Bass Opens, but y'all also fished the EBO as well as the Electric Elites.
Correct. Yep.
And y'all are some, no doubt, I seen some results. Y'all come out pretty good for last weekend, didn't you?
Yeah, we've done pretty well. Last two tournaments, we've done pretty well.
Better than we expected, but anything can definitely change. But we've been blessed so far.
Yep. So I'm going to go through here, guys. Make sure, leave us a comment. I want to keep this as wide open as possible. If y'all have any questions, comments that y'all maybe want to take and put on here, leave it. That's the way we're going to be entered in for our random drawings. All you have to do is like it, leave us a comment. That's it. I'm sure Geiger, Randy, y'all are ready to answer these questions, even as hard as they may be, right?
We're ready.
Yeah.
So let's just go ahead and dive in and talk about when we were sitting there a minute ago getting started up for the show. I'd noticed both of y'all had quite an array of trophies in y'all's room. Quite a few years. I know we interviewed y'all last year, qualifying through with the TEC. Back again, and I'm sure in future years y'all going to be continuing being in the spotlight right back through with the TEC year after year. So let's see some of them trophies, Randy. I seen we was talking about a story about your big fish that one year.
Yeah, you talking, that's a lot of years ago, man. That was a lot of years ago. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's glass.
Yeah.
You see through it.
Yeah.
Big fish.
Big fish at Yahoula, wasn't it? Wasn't that what we was
Yes,
talking
it was.
about?
Yep, and a long time ago.
As he's reeling it in, he's talking to Jake and I, yelling over his shoulder, "It's a giant! It's a giant!" Letting us know he's got a big one.
Man,
It felt pretty good.
I think I do remember that because the pictures we took. I know your brother was smiling ear to ear that night or that day.
Yeah, problem is we had, I think, over 18 pounds, but I think Tim and Mike had like 19 pounds. But
What
we got
year?
big fish.
What year was that?
2012. Jake reminds me all the time, I didn't catch a keeper that tournament. Jake caught our 5 fish that tournament.
I wonder if that was the year that I nearly caught my boat on fire.
It may have
At
been.
Yahoula?
Yeah, it was early spring, wasn't it? Like April or May?
It was probably either, no, I think it was either late March or early April. I mean, Kevin and Dustin, Mike and Tim, right after that tournament, it was basically over. They hammered him at Rocky the tournament before that. Then they did that. Our points were based off weight that year, if you remember American. They just killed everybody.
That's right. It wasn't that tournament because it was before then. We wasn't fishing Rocky Mountain yet.
I remember Yahoula was full that day. They was boats. We was sitting there pointing toward the mainly. Geiger and them was behind us about 20 feet. They wasn't. You could have walked over there to them. It was so shallow, and there's boats going in front of me left and right.
So we've had quite a few folks jump in here. Again, we have Randy Moore, Michael Geiger, qualifiers for the ePropulsion TEC coming up here in just a couple months away. Qualified through with Electric Bass Open. So, Kevin's got a comment on here. Kevin Beatty said it was cold. He remembers that. I think it was an early spring, cool morning tournament. I think it was.
Yeah. Him and Kevin and Dustin just had went by me in front of me. I mean, 30 yards, and I caught that fish right after they went by. Sure did.
So, okay, I'm gonna ask a question. We ain't even talked about this, but what is both of y'all's? And I don't care whichever one wants to go first. What's y'all's most memorable fish catch? And it don't have to be freshwater, but just most memorable catch.
Together?
Yeah. So to give y'all, or no, you don't have to be together. Just memorable in general. So while you're thinking, Patricia Payton wanting to know what the date of the TEC event is. It is actually May 29th, and that is obviously 2021. So May 29th is when the TEC is going to be held.
And that's at Hard Labor also, right?
It is at Hard Labor again. Yes, sir. And hey, everybody, if you haven't got over and seen it, and I don't mean to take away from y'all spotlight, but maybe it gives y'all a little bit more time to think about it for the past question. But that video that I saw of Patricia and sitting there and getting a very good question popped to her at the weigh-in there, didn't she?
Man, I'm telling you.
So I congratulate y'all. If y'all didn't get over and see it, get over and check them out on the Electric Elites, I believe, or maybe on her page. I think it went on the Electric Elites as well. But congratulations. I know Taylor probably been sweating bullets all day. He probably wasn't really worried about catching fish all day, right? Just knowing he's going to have to propose.
I didn't know what was going on. I seen him hit a knee, and I knew exactly what he was doing.
I don't know if y'all would agree with this, but that will probably be of all moments in John boat fishing. That's probably like the most memorable. You know what I mean? So
everyone will remember that from the tournament. They won't remember much else.
It was almost a tearjerker.
Well, to answer your question, Merrick, I'm sitting here thinking, Randy, we'll try to. If you say together, I'm gonna pick two that I can think of. One was a couple years back, Hickory Log, early in the morning, and caught that 675 Remember that one, Randy? That big one?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yep, that one. And then another one, the Merrick, you're going to, well, you didn't see it, but you'll remember the day back, all the way back in 2000, either 9 or 10 at Blue Ridge, and Randy caught an 8-pounder cranking up the river.
That was
And
definitely
you saw the fish after that. That was a big fish.
It was just that whole day, really. I mean, it was just fish after fish. That was just a day, man, right there.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been a good video for sure.
That was our topic from last year. If I remember right, I pulled the photographs from that at Blue Ridge.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, Randy, what's your most memorable?
I tell you, it might have been the one Geiger just set at Hickory Log, man. He caught it, but that's the one that got caught up in the trolling motor, right, Geiger?
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't think we were getting that one. I mean, it was all lifting trolling motors out of the water. Only 12-pound test line. There's no way this fish isn't breaking off.
Yeah.
Man.
There's a bunch of them, though. I mean, that's two.
I can remember the one, if you also talk about the most memorable one, is the one that we lost second year, I think, fishing. I know the most memorable one, Randy. I don't know how we forgot this one. First tournament. No, not Latham. Well, that's the lost one, but big one, Rocky Mountain 3 years ago. We were having a horrible. Randy caught a 5.5 right off the bat. We missed every fish, lost I don't know how many good fish. Pull back up the spot. I lose another 4-pounder. I just look over and laugh at him. I said, "It's not our day." The next cast, I caught a 9.5. That would probably be the most memorable one. Least memorable one was Latham, is what you were about to say. Randy had one. I mean, he got it around, I don't know how many trees. It was a 7-pounder. The last little stick up near the boat, I mean, just barely under the water, wasn't more than 2-inch diameter stick, and he couldn't get it off. And we're sitting there looking at the fish. I couldn't get to it. Jumped out in there 3-4 times and finally came off. Cost us the tournament.
Yeah. Hey, Charlie, how you doing, bud?
So Charlie had in here Geiger. I would say Varner, 18 pounds and 3 casts.
For me and Charlie, absolutely, yes. That was pretty. We weren't doing anything that tournament. And bam, 3 casts. We had 18 pounds. And Randall Kirkpatrick is over near us, and he goes, "Y'all catching hybrids?" We're like, "Nope, they're largemouth."
So let me get back up here. Charlie also said, okay, so he was asking when the cutoff is for practice. Put me on the spot, Charlie. I think we're doing it the same as last year. I believe we all agreed to it. It was a 2-week window. We'll wind up posting everything out and letting all the anglers know in advance before he gets to those time frames as well. So let's see here. Joey Morris.
Our tournament then is about going to be our practice, right?
I don't know when we're going to get practice. We got a little bit of time after that.
So Joey Morris said in here
a week after, right?
The
week after us.
When's y'all's?
March. We're there in a month. Yeah, March, but it's May is the TEC.
No, we go in April.
May. That's right.
We go in April.
Yeah.
So Joey was saying Geiger and Randy need to be checked for performance-enhancing drugs. I think that would be also endurance too, because y'all are always just right there, man, right there. So Randall said in here, that was one of my worst moments. Surely not, Randall. Surely not.
I think that tournament, that was there were like 3 20-pound. I think Bobby Hood had almost 19 pounds. I don't know if it was him or someone else. It may have been Bobby, and he didn't even get a check. There was 3 bags over 20.
Wow.
So Randall also said, was heading there, and they beat me to the spot. Nothing but hybrids, a couple of casts away.
It was late in the day, too. That wasn't like it was first thing. We came there later in the day, and like I said, we didn't have much, and they caught those 3, and it was it.
It's so funny how that works. Like Randall saying that comment, like, y'all, Geiger beat him to the spot, and just a couple of cast away, nothing. Same way that year in the J-bait years ago, when Randall beat us to the spot, and it was literally few, cast away distance, and we couldn't even get bit. So that's how it works.
It's a timing issue.
Yep. Charlie said Bobby and Matt both had over 20.
Yeah, I knew there was 3 20-pound. Yeah, there was 3 20-pound bags.
Man, That was in the good days of Varner, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of, folks, just continue leaving some comments. We'll make sure to interact as well during all this time of our show. So we was discussing earlier about, I don't know if y'all want to go ahead and dive into it, about y'all's boat. Y'all haven't done any upgrades since last year, right? Everything's still the same.
No, slow as ever. No, we did do an upgrade. I'm sorry. We picked up about 310s.
Oh, that's right. We did do an upgrade. I forgot
Geiger
about
bought a
that.
motor.
I bought a Rick Deal, decided to get out of it, although now he said he's fishing with Josh Adams and EVO, but sold all his stuff, and he had a half swing. I guess it's a 110-pound thrust, and I got an old Motor Guide 82. I said, you know what, I'll buy it it's 24 volt, and so it more thrust than what Randy had with his 36, and we had a 75-pound thrust 24 volt on Randy's boat. And I said, well, might as well buy it. I'll stick it on Randy's for now. It'll be a backup on my boat. And we picked up, about a quarter of a mile an hour? I mean, not much, but a little bit.
Still running the same style batteries?
Yeah.
Walmart Everstart.
Have y'all ever thought about changing to different style batteries?
We talked about it.
I have in my bass boat, but I haven't. I mean, I don't fish. We used Randy's boat mainly in the John boat, but I've considered. I almost went to lithiums. I'm still considered on the bass boat just for the weight situation. We hadn't done it yet on the bass boat. I mean, the John boat.
So Charlie commented on this. Speed does not always win.
No, that's for sure. And that's something we were talking about earlier, is that, I know even in my bass boat, maybe one of the things is, I can drive around 70 miles an hour, but sometimes in that John boat, knowing you can't make that run is kind of lets you settle down. They all say you don't leave fish to find fish. Well, if we're on something and, you go make a long run in a John boat and someone's sitting on your spot, that's it. You can't turn around and go back and go back to where you were. And so until it really starts hurting us, and it will, we're not ready to make the investment in an electric motor at this point. I mean, I know we'd like to have it, and there's a lot of cost involved, and not just so much the motor, it is probably the batteries on top of it. And we've talked to a lot of people in different setups, and if we're fortunate enough to win one, then maybe then obviously we would go to it. I don't know. Maybe eventually we bite the bullet, but right now we'll keep on sticking with what we're doing.
You think, Randy? You on the same page on it?
Yeah. Just try to make a few more casts while everybody's driving around. What we try to do.
What do y'all? Because I think we talked about it before. I know you've probably had conversations in the past about it, Geiger, but going into that jump, you kind of touched on it there, but having just an electric outboard, it changes completely. And there's been, I can speak for it, for me and JV, it's kind of, it does hurt you somewhat. I mean, first spot's good. After that, you got to kick it back, but then you know that you can have that longevity the entire day compared to trolling motor. It kind of messes with
the bigger lakes, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice, on a hard labor. We even had our first tournament at Lanier, although we happened to win. And I honestly think maybe if we had that outboard, we may have not won Lanier. We may have said, hey, we got ability to run around, and we stayed put where we were at before it. But there are some times, I know definitely on hard labor, I would much rather have an electric outboard.
Yeah.
But there's another thing to consider we talked about is, our tournament the other morning, and I think he got it running, but Jordan Cox couldn't get his motor going. And if you got two trolling motors on the back and one goes out, at least you still got something in the back to keep you powered.
Yeah. Same as me. My trolling motor went out on the front, and I had to literally steer with the electric outboard on the back the entire day last year in the tournament we had, and that was brutal.
Tough.
I think y'all fished that one, didn't you? I think.
Which one was it?
Latham. It was y'all was fishing last year.
Yes. Yeah. Was it the one in the summer? Or was it the one? Yeah.
Yeah. So, here's a very valid point. Michael Cheek was saying that the guys that won the TEC, Dusty and Taylor, that they only had one trail motor on the back, one on the front, which that has changed.
He's got an Elko now.
Yeah. So maybe that's going to be a hot topic whenever we get to their interview, and not necessarily going to be Dusty, but talking with Taylor and see how things have kind of changed from that progression. But folks, again, quick reminder: if you're just now hopping on here, leave us a comment, like the video. That's the way you're going to be entered in for the drawing on Friday. So if you got questions, make sure to take time, leave us here. So we'll take and go as long as y'all keep the questions going. And if y'all don't, then we'll dive into other topics. So let's talk about y'all's event. Y'all just got done fishing Rocky Mountain with the Electric Elites. And that was, I know this even from ours, from SWAT, the weekend before. It was, tough conditions, which is expected for Rocky, right?
It was tough. We was really nervous after the first hour and a half.
Probably 2.5 hours.
Maybe 2.5, yeah.
I mean,
we started off what we always start off on, and then we went and done what we practiced 2 weeks ago, and the exact same thing happened. Same weight and everything.
So how many bites did y'all get all day?
I had a couple. I don't know if it was shad slapping at it. I had 1 or 2 bites early that didn't do anything. And then I guess we caught, after that, we only had, 6 bites, cold one time. We caught all the other 6 bites we got. We put all of them in the boat.
Yeah, we just cold one time.
Yep.
We cold 2 times and had a walleye that was like, I don't know how to judge a walleye. I don't know if y'all do, but I didn't put it on scales, and I think JV's still crying over it because, that thing was, if I had to guess, maybe 7-8 pounds, maybe. It was thick. He's sitting there like, man, I've got everything right there at the house. I could have me a fish sandwich when I get home. Chunked it back.
There've been several of them caught lately up there, right?
Justin caught 2.
Somebody else talking about them.
Yeah, Justin caught 2 a couple weeks ago, I think.
Were they any size one that he got?
Yeah, big ones. Yeah, I would, my guess looking at them, they're probably about that size, 6-7 pounds.
I would say probably that lake of all lakes is probably going to be a really good walleye lake in the future, just the way that it's setting up.
How long they have them stocked in there?
Oh Lord, a few years maybe.
Merrick,
yeah.
That lake, when we first started fishing up there, wasn't people catching big hybrids out of there?
They used to be
stocked there.
I thought there used to be some hybrids in there. I think.
I do too. I never caught one, but it seemed like I remember people talking about it, and seeing it on the computer somewhere. I forget where I was looking at. They had some look like they're 7 or 8 pounds, I think.
So forgive my ignorance. They're either white bass or yellow bass. I don't know what kind's the difference, if there is, if they're the same, but you catch them now. And they're, fairly small. Somebody actually caught one of them in our tournament up there. And I've caught one before in the years past, but it's crazy. I think it's been 10 years this year since we have been fishing tournaments at Rocky Mountain.
Yeah,
10 years.
Long time.
10 years. So Chris had a question. Chris Thompson, what makes you guys so consistent? And I agree with him that, when you go to a tournament and y'all are fishing it, you're usually in the top tier bracket every event. So what do y'all think pays off for making y'all consistent?
Well, we kind of fish in 2 different directions when we're fishing together. You guys can probably answer that better than I can. I'm usually doing one thing, I'm usually doing another.
I'll tell you one thing that really helps is, having a lot of confidence. I know when I've started fishing, not that they're a good fisherman now, but I didn't, when you feel, and some guys do have confidence in their partner. I got a ton of confidence in Randy. And as far as just being able to put fish in the boat. And I'll sit there and, to be consistent, you got to be up to the top. We could consistently catch 5 and not have, well, not always, not this week. Catch 5 would be good, but you can consistently catch 5 and still not be getting in the money, maybe middle of the pack. But having the confidence in Randy to put fish, and we discuss it, say, okay, you do what you do, put fish in the boat. Sometimes I'll do that. It allows me to consistently fish for big fish. I didn't do that early on when I first started fishing. We just did the same, me and my partner whoever fit, we'd do the same thing. And sometimes you'd stumble into something good, but sometimes you wouldn't. But kind of changed our mentality the last, when Randy and I really started fishing together John boats about 3-4 years ago, to where, and he will too at times swing for big fish, but I know that he can put them in the back of the boat. It allows me to always fish for a big fish. And I think that's kind of what's helped us to elevate it. I mean, like this, I'll tell you, for example, this tournament this past weekend, I have got my brains beat in at Rocky Mountain in the early spring every time I fished out there. I mean, 2-3 keepers. I've had never done any good. I told him, I said, we are going to go out there and figure out. I mean, it's no secret. I mean, there's 40 guys throwing Alabama rigs. I said, we're going to figure it instead of sitting there dragging. And I even knew with this cold front, it's going to be harder to get a fish to want to react to a slow moving bait, even though that's where we're comfortable with that lake. Let's go out there and figure it out. We spent 1 day of practice. I mean, just slinging it. And we got confidence in it. Not knowing if it would come through again, but at least it gave us confidence. I said, we got to keep this in our hand. We fell back. I caught the first fish we caught Saturday. I caught a 6-pounder on a jig, but I knew it was kind of dumb luck. And for a second there, I said, let's not get sidetracked. Last year, we had the same thing. Randy caught a 4.5 right off the bat in our tournament on a Texas rig. And we spent the rest of the day dragging shallow and did not get a bite until the very end of the tournament, just trying to scrape keepers. I said, we got to fish for how you catch big fish and for the conditions or whatever lake we're at. Those are the things that make us consistent, I believe.
Yep. We always agree on what we're going to do, We, even from the beginning, when we first started fishing with each other, I was nervous about it, to be honest with you, because I'm a dragger, and it just clicked, we just, it seemed like what I wanted to do, he wanted to do, what he wanted to do, I wanted to do, and it's always worked out.
So, Bogey used to fish with us. Don't know if y'all remember Bogey or not. I think he is fishing with EBO with Jody Wheeler, if I remember right. So he's asking, what's y'all's go-to bait for that kicker fish?
I mean, I used to say a jig. I used to say a jig, but I don't know. I think it dictates what time of year it is and what the conditions are. I mean,
so I don't know if y'all caught that. You both spoke at the same time, and like jig come out of y'all's mouth at the same time.
Well, I said used to be a jig,
but it's top water in the spring for sure. We throw that a lot.
Spring and early summer. We've definitely the last 2 years got to a lot more top water. I think most of the tournaments I'm thinking, Randy, either swim bait or top water has probably been that we've weighed big fish in the last 2 years. It's probably come on some bait like that.
Yeah.
So let's talk swim bait. Are you talking hard bait? You talking soft?
Soft.
About big profile, small profiles?
Big profile.
Huh?
Big profile.
Big profiles, which it also probably dictates on the lake and the bait too.
It does. Some lakes I wouldn't even consider probably throwing that. I mean, re-reg. I'm not saying it can't work. I don't have any confidence. Re-reg, we got a re-reg, top water is probably where we're going to catch our big fish.
What you, Randy? You into swim baits at all, throwing them too?
Not the big ones that much. I've got a few of them, but I mostly throw like a Kai-Tech, something like that. When I throw swim baits, yeah.
Hey, I seen it firsthand. JV absolutely caught a daggum groaning at Hickerlog. I want to say it was 2 years ago. Fish was on bed. He had a swim bait. Scared me to death. Had a treble hook on it. Everything. I was like, bed fishing, man, that's bound for disaster. You know what I mean? And, man, he threw it in there. And, I mean, it was about 5 pounds, if I remember right. Just come over. Y'all was fishing that tournament.
I remember that. Yeah, I didn't know
Yeah.
he caught on swim bait. I remember y'all catching.
Oh yeah, it's on video through the YouTube stuff. But it literally just when it seen. I mean, he only made like 2 pitches into that bed. I mean, we'd been working on that fish for 30 minutes. It came over, just nose down, and just engulfed. And I mean, when I show it to the video, I mean, it's literally down like it's gullet. I mean, it was awesome. So one thing's okay. Back to kind of about y'all being consistent. And I don't want to throw a loop into something, and I don't know if this will be probably the right lake to suggest, but say if you're going tomorrow, all right, random, all of a sudden tournament tomorrow, you're going to Yahulah for being consistent. Like just break it down how both of y'all would approach it. And I know that lake's drastically different from years ago, but there's still big fish in there. But how would y'all approach it as a tournament?
Start off shallow and work our way deep.
Even right now?
Right now, I would.
I would definitely start off shallow. I think, one thing we'll do too, if we're both, that lake, especially the way it fit, and each lake's different, and I would probably approach it different 10 years ago than now. But we would absolutely go out. Probably both of us are going to swing for a big fish because that's one of those lakes, just like Hickory Log, catch a big fish. I mean, after 3-4 hours, if we're not catching fish, then it's time to go out, pull back, slow down, throw a worm, go Texas rig, put a limit in the boat if we can get it. We may not get a limit, could burn you. But once we get, probably even once we get to 4, we say there's no sense in getting that 12, that 5th 12 in and go back to trying to get number 5 to be a kicker.
When that lake first opened, boy, you could catch big ones too. I'm telling you, it was really good.
Oh gosh,
so
was unbelievable.
So let's say this: you go the duration of half the day. Say it's 11:45. You ain't even got a fish in the boat after running that whole deal, shallow, throwing jigs. What would you do then?
Drop.
I go to a drop shot at that point at lunch, and I ain't got a bite to get 5.
I mean, y'all.
I've never threw a drop shot in Yahulah in my life.
I mean, y'all. I'm sure y'all do this as well too, right? As far as when you're out there, your graph is painting you a picture the entire time for the duration. If you're up shallow is one thing, but if you move out deeper, if they ain't up shallow, you rely on your graph a lot, right? Or not?
Well, Yahulah, not so much. I wouldn't think, as small as it is.
If you're talking Yahulah, I would say not so much.
Yeah.
But maybe finding those key little isolated stumps or different things, trying to target them.
You used to be able to go on and hit that brush that was kind of out there, but it's been, Merrick, I think you and I fished it last time. It was, 2017 is probably last time I went out there with you. That's the last time I'd been there since probably.
Really?
Like
your video feed. Your feed froze.
The back?
Yep, now it's back. You said that's the last time you've been to Yahulah is when you fished out there?
And wasn't it like 2007? We fished that, I think it was Dahlonega John boat before they were a club. We just went and fished. We had 5 little ones. Yeah, I hadn't been there since then.
Golly bum. That has been a while. Which it's probably been 2 years for myself too. So sidetrack on you there. Y'all keep the questions coming. What do y'all throw on your A rig at Rocky Mountain?
Skinny dippers is what I had on mine.
Little dippers or big dippers?
Little.
Yep. Randy, I had 4 little dippers, and my middle one was a 3.8-inch Kitech.
Did you not see the shad floating around? Oh, y'all probably didn't have them dying when y'all was there, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to step away from the camera for just a second.
Okay.
And I'm going to show y'all. I'll even show what I was throwing. I don't care one bit. I actually got it down here with me. So 2 seconds here. Y'all can read this comment.
Very small.
Y'all can read this comment screen, right?
Yeah, I can see it from Jason Brown.
One of y'all read that out loud to him while I grab this.
All right. I'm late to the party, and I saw your go-to bait for kicker. So what's your go-to bait when you ain't got a bite and you don't know what to do? What bait do you go to then?
I'm usually dragging. I usually start dragging at that point.
Yeah, well, you're
Maybe a
dragging.
small worm or something. If it's getting late in the day and I got to have 5, I'm getting desperate. Depends on what lake it is. The right lake, I'm going strictly to a drop shot. But I don't really like to do that like at Rocky Mountain. I ain't much of a drop shotter up there. You know, I'd rather use a regular worm on a Texas rig up at.
I don't think have we ever caught a fish on a drop shot at Rocky Mountain, Randy?
Yeah, well, Jake did. Yeah, I've caught a
Jake
few.
did in practice. He caught a 6
when I
pounder.
caught him, remember Tim and them behind us going in that tournament last year?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Last year, that's right. We did pick. That was the only time though. We practiced it this couple of weeks ago. And he's like, I don't want to do this.
Kind of a waste of time up there. You're not going to win throwing a drop shot up there. But we didn't have a fish. We had one fish, right? When we
had one fish, and you caught 2 keep. Tim's sitting there talking to us as you're catching keepers on that drop shot.
Yeah. And he's sitting over there smiling with 28 pounds in the box.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good deal. So I want to go back to Justin on this. So here's a bait that I actually threw at Rocky Mountain and caught a 5-pounder on during our tournament. So Star Lures, which sponsors the TEC, they make these baits. I mean, it is, oh man, my fishing rod about yanked the hooks in my hand.
It looks like a worm to me, kind of.
Yeah, so I mean, it's literally, and I mean the action in the water, it's just different. And I think, I don't know if y'all would agree to that or not. Me and JV talked about it when we was out there. Things that we caught fish on at Rocky during the tournament was just finding that little bit of difference from everybody else. I don't know if y'all would agree to that or not.
Ours was timing, because ours was the first fish was a little bit of dumb luck. I mean, anybody was a visible target that I caught off, and I'm sure it gets a bunch of casts. But the second one was a spot that was well known, and it was just, when do the fish decide to feed? And that's what we've told people. You know, Charlie was saying, Blake were talking to us. They were about the lake, they didn't know much. And Randy and I told him, said, look, you can go all day long out there for 8 hours and 8.5 hours or 7.5 hours. In the last 30 minutes, they fire. I mean, we caught all our fish in about a 20-minute time, other than the first one in a 20-minute. That was it. We fished that spot for 2 more hours, never got another bite. This time of year at Rocky, I believe it's just you got to hit a feeding window, and then it's over.
You got to be at the right place when you start feeding.
That's right. So let's talk about timing. Let's progress forward to May 29th. Y'all been down there. You're familiar with hard labor. Kind of probably got a good game plan going into this event.
We plan on going down there and practicing, getting a game plan. We're not.
We got a little bit. I mean, we went last summer a couple times. I've been down there. What, Randy? You and I went once in the summer last year.
Yeah, I think I've been down 6 times total.
6 times. I've been down there a couple of times with Charlie, and I've been down there 8. And I went a couple of times last summer. Both knowing we had this trail, really looking, because our classics down there for the elites, and for the May tournament next year. So we got a little bit of a game plan, but we still got a ways to go to put something together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does it kind of, I mean, it's going to be right there post spawn. I mean, I know summer months. Go ahead.
I think it's going to be a moving bait deal. I'm thinking.
Obviously, get up shallow and find them shallow moving.
Yeah. Yep. If that don't work after a little while, we'll be dragging like everybody else.
So, okay, I know a lot of anglers struggle with this on that lake. I don't know if y'all would agree with this or not, but it's probably a lot of dead water at hard labor. Would y'all agree, disagree?
First time it overwhelmed us. The very first time we went to that lake, I just felt, we got done. I was like, man, we really tried to focus on finding something different. I don't think you're going to find it the first time. We had my phone pulled up nonstop with just Google Earth and trying to look at what the lake, because it wasn't, the Google Earth images were before it was full pool, just trying to find stuff that looked different, because once it came up, it was just brush everywhere. And so I now feel I got the place. I mean, we still get overwhelmed in certain areas, but now we've got enough stuff that I feel I can fish something different and doesn't all seem like the same thing going like it was that first time we went there.
Yeah.
But y'all got good game plans as far as deep fish, shallow fish.
We got one deep spot, but it's kind of been taken over, I think.
Yeah. That said enough, didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
so
we went first. I think the first time we went there, we caught a fish on that.
Yeah. So Charlie was saying he disagrees. He disagrees about it as far as a lot of dead water, I'm assuming, is what he's talking about. So,
Expand, Charlie, what do you disagree with?
I could probably see maybe where he's talking about if it's the right time and them fish come up. You know what I mean? It can be widespread.
They move. We really had a good what was that TEC we fished? Yeah,
2 years ago.
TEC. We had a pretty good day that day. We think we finished 11th, but we lost a couple. One right at the boat trying to net it, his jig come out and hit me between the eyes, and it was about a 4 pounder. We should have had probably a top 4, right?
And we lost that one. I broke a big one off. We had another one that just came. He had a big one blow up the top. I mean, that's how it goes. But we had, we didn't practice that, did we, Rand? We went in blind to that one. It's deer season. I don't fish a lot during deer season, but it was one we could have done a lot better in.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt about that.
So do y'all have some confidence going into this event as far as a kicker fish for the TEC?
Not really.
No.
That lake's got a lot of them. It's a good thing about it, but you need 5 good ones down there.
Yes. That's exactly right. So y'all had kind of talked about possibility of doing some upgrades, maybe, to your boat, maybe in the future. If that'd be one thing, what would y'all want to upgrade on your boat?
Probably on the depth finder, it looks like. I'm not sure yet, but in the future, that's what I've been thinking about anyway.
Panoptics, Randy, are you talking about? Yeah, we've been talking a little bit about Panoptics.
I mean, it is I don't know if y'all feel the same way. I've yet to be out on a boat with it running yet and seen it firsthand, but being out there at Rocky during our event, it could have simplified tremendously. Like, just when you're chasing those active schooling fish subsurface, I mean, you just don't see them. You have to drive over them with a normal traditional sonar. If you've got that Panoptics, you got the picture painted there for you.
You know where to throw every time.
I'm pretty sure Taylor and Patricia caught all theirs deep. We was over, we started side. I mean, it looked like they was pretty deep all day long. And me and Geiger caught all of ours shallow, But I guess the Panoptics would work good. The shallows we was fishing. Geiger?
I think so. I've talked to Chris a little bit about it. I'm trying to convince myself to get one this week, but it's going on the bass boat. So I got a tournament at Carter's and fishing 90 feet deep. I think it would help me out a little bit up there.
I don't know if you've seen that, Randy. Randy obviously did, but I don't know if Geiger did.
I said, Justin, don't do this. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, Justin's saying it's a scam. So, I mean, here I've said this. I don't know if I said it on live or not, but my biggest challenge with obviously is the money, number one. But number two is I went through and I bought a Helix. I mean, that was the thing then. Buy the Helix units. These things are amazing, blah, blah, blah. They're affordable. And all of a sudden, literally within just a few months, here comes the Gen 2s, Gen 3s, and it just keeps going up from there. And the definition quality is just night and day difference. And that's what I'm scared of doing for that jump into Panoptics is imagine what is going to come in a year or two from now or 3 years from now.
Probably should be illegal.
You know, Mary, well, what you get into the point is like, you know, and some guy, you know, the money thing is big is can you afford the latest and greatest thing? And when you do bite the bullet on something like that, you got to say, okay, you got to tell yourself, I'm okay that if I go the next 2 or 3 years, I'm just going to have to live with what I got. I'm better off than I was before. Or you say, I'm fine where I'm at now and just deal with it. That's been, I think, you know, I look at it now and I would say for the Elite Trail this year, the first 2 tournaments, and it might be important later, but the way I look at the first 2 tournaments are probably the most important tournaments to have Panoptics. Now we ended up changing how we fished at Lanier because we couldn't catch fish out deep. But it would have been nice to have one at Rocky Mountain. But going into, you know, and I could be wrong because I haven't seen it, but going into hard labor, if fish are up shallow in 5 feet of water, I can live with not having it. And we're not like we're chasing bait and fish out in open water. Maybe the summer month, maybe our classic out there. If we chase schooling fish, that might be a time to it'd be good to have again. I think there's times when it can be beneficial. There's times it's going to burn you. I've heard people say that they get too caught up chasing fish on it, and next thing they know, half the tournament's gone by, and it just, you know, you get it's addictive. It's like a bed fish, Mary. You can probably relate. You get so caught up. I mean, I've gotten to where I don't bed fish much anymore because I worry about getting caught up too much on a big fish, and you get obsessed with it and becomes you're so determined to catch one, and next thing you know, you've blown the whole tournament. And we don't bed fish much either.
So Michael's saying loves it, pulls up on a spot, swiping the spot, see if the fish are there, so that way he doesn't waste any time. But it will hurt you, just like you said, because you see the fish and they won't bite. Time flies by. That's right.
Double-edged sword.
So I don't remember if we discussed this about it last year. I know, Geiger, you still fish big lake events out of your bass boat?
Yep. I went Sunday right after our tournament. I was up there practicing at Carter's. So.
Did you get them? You on a good pattern up there?
No. We got an area where it's got some fish. It was a tough day Sunday. My partner didn't get a bite. I caught 2 and had 4 bites. But we moved around. I think we got one area where we got some fish. We're probably going to camp there because we didn't find them in a lot of areas that I normally catch them.
Randy, you fish big lakes tournaments?
No, well, I have with Geiger a few times, but no, I don't. Not really.
So
I enjoy the John boat fishing on Lanier. I think it's awesome. I think y'all are really going to enjoy it. I think it's great.
Yeah, well, we're pumped and excited for it.
Yeah.
So where I was going with this about Geiger, you've got a boat. I can't remember if we talked about it in the last year's show, but you do have a John boat. Is there ever a plan to maybe, because a lot of anglers, you know, have 2 boats to where either they pre-fish at different times or they could swap boats back and forth. Have you ever thought about getting an upgrade, getting a boat?
I think about it, but it's like, I mean, I got it. We got every tournament I'm fishing with Randy. He's got the better boat.
He has practice out his a bunch.
Well, yeah, I'll use mine for practice. Is fine. We even fished a tournament last year. We fished a day and then a night tournament, and during the day we used my boat. I've fished over the years a couple tournaments with EBO, Randy and I. You know, there's times where he was fishing. Yeah. Before last year, he was still fishing either with Aaron or with his brother the first couple years, and so we had tournaments on the same day. So I would take my John boat. I've had that John boat. That's the first one I ever bought. I still have the same one. It's been decked a couple times, and it's not the most stable, but it's probably just as fast as the boat we're in with Randy. Fish live. It's bad if it gets rough. It's a little bit, you know, it gets blown around because it's so light. But I've thought about it. I always think about it. I'll sit there and look and see all these guys upgrading them, but it's tough with, you know, you got a bass boat, and I got to go take my trailer to get trailer work done, and new shot. I got to drop $1,000 on my bass boat here probably in the next month, and then I'll probably have to replace some batteries on it, and then something else will go. So you're just constantly, the bass boat's constantly putting repairs and stuff in there, and so it's hard to bite the bullet, especially when I have a good alternative with Randy's boat already.
He's always fishing. He ain't got time to do nothing anyway.
That's right.
That's the problem.
Unless it's deer season, right?
Right.
That's right. Yep.
And Randy, you used the same way. You used to be die-hard deer hunter.
Yep. I didn't hunt one time this year. It's the first time since I was probably 16 years old. From the time I was about 18 years old, I hunted every weekend of deer season, didn't miss a weekend, and a lot of the weekdays.
Really?
All my life.
Golly bum, I think I've never heard that out of you yet since I've known you. And it's been a while.
I got tired of toting my stand, I think, up the mountains up here. And I got burnt out, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I done it too hard for too many years.
I'm the same way. I got burned out on it, but I think I'm going to wind up getting back in it. I've actually put a food plot and corn feeders in my backyard, and I actually had about 5 different bucks start showing up in my backyard. I've got one that's nothing to, no trophy or nothing, but 8-pointer, and it ain't got much mass to the horns or nothing, but big body, and may wind up getting the girls down there. That's the reason why I may get back into it more down the road, just for them. So Tim White, he agrees. That's of all the show, that was the shocking moment of the show. Randy not going deer hunting.
I hear that.
I'll agree to that.
Well, all I ever did was bow hunt. I just bow hunted, for the last 25 years, all I did anyway. And I loved it.
Yeah.
Like I said, that wasn't nothing for me to hunt 4 or 5 days a week for years.
Yeah. So I don't really have anything else. I'm going to give just a couple more minutes here. If you got any questions to ask Randy and Geiger tonight, this is going to be your last opportunity to put it out there. So appreciate the comments, questions that come through so far, and interaction. So going to this event, obviously y'all ain't on pins and needles with the event because y'all are accustomed to it being there. You already got your spot. You're already ready to go, right, for the event in May?
Yeah, we're ready.
Yeah.
I mean, we're ready. Figure something out, but I mean, we'll go what we do. I mean, I don't, can we win? You never know. I mean, what's that, Rain?
I said we'll get down there 2 or 3 times before then, including one
tournament. Yeah. We'll give it a. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, there's a lot changing. I mean, if the off limits thing, and we may get down there May 8th, and they're still tail end of spawn, early post spawn, and by May 29th, and they're already a lot of stuff transitioned to the summer pattern. You almost got to pre-fish some of these events from the year before with the off limit stuff. So I'll rely a little bit on that. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. We haven't fished it in May yet.
Yep. So, men, maybe we can add some more titles back behind y'all's name. Maybe y'all can come through in this one for the TEC and being the state champions for the year. I wish y'all the very best of luck going into this event. I know without a doubt y'all are going to be up in that top tier, though, just from y'all's consistency that y'all always do.
Oh, we appreciate it.
And I hope, at least in all honesty, I hope at this event, because it sounds like just from conversations, that there's no heartbreaks of any missed fish, opportunities, or anything like it, because I know those stick with you for a lifetime. Because I know we talked about in the last year's show, Geiger, about that giant one up at Blue Ridge you had up there when I was Whopper Plopper. I mean, those stick with you, those moments.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So, well, it's part of fishing, and that's part of the memories. So,
Michael said, "Congratulations, both y'all guys."
Thank you, Mike.
So, man, I don't have anything else. We will go ahead and conclude the show. I appreciate everyone tuning in tonight from the Electric Bass Opens Points Champions, Randy Moore and Michael Geiger. So, thank y'all men for taking time out tonight. And I'm going to tell you what, Randy, you done a fine job getting on here, sir.
Yeah. I'd rather fish. I don't mess with computers. You know that.
Yeah. Well, you done a fine job. Sure did.
Thanks a lot, Merrick. Thanks everybody else.
Thank you, Merrick.
Showing up too.
All right. Y'all take care.
All right.
All right.
See you next.
We'll see you.
All right. That concludes it. We'll be going Hooked Up Live here in just a few weeks. So make sure you can watch this feed after this and like it. Leave us a comment, and you can still be entered in for a random drawing that's going to be happening Friday night. So appreciate everybody tuning in. We will see y'all in just a few short weeks.